A very, very pleasant good morning to each and everyone logged on and viewing us on YouTube. My name is Lyndon Gums, Chairman of the Romaine Diabetic Support Group. This morning, we meet for our monthly meet and vlog where we come alive and we discuss matters as it relates to our health. And this morning, we have with us a beautiful young lady, Miss Farah Hassanali, who would be sharing with us this morning. I am really excited to hear from her this morning, as it relates to diabetes and our youth, because many times when we think about diabetes, we think that only persons over the age of 60 or 50 will become diabetic, but we have Miss Hassanali with us today, and I will want to call her Farah, for her to take us through this meet and vlog this morning. So, Farah, good morning and welcome. How are you?
Hi, morning. Thank you for having me this morning, Mr. Gums. I'm good. Weather is sunny, bright, so positive things are happening.
Plenty positive things happening, even construction in the background, if you all hear the ponging. Yeah. So, Farah, this morning, before we dive into our discussion on diabetes and how it would have impacted on your life, tell us a little bit about you, Farah Hassanali.
Okay, ever since I was small, I would have been considered what everyone would call a tomboy, right? You would quicker find me outside rather than inside. Whether it is playing cricket or some kind of outdoor activity. And I would like to thank my father for that, because one thing he always gave us the experience of growing up was beach lime or camping, and camping in the sense of not in a beach house but in an actual tent. And you have bare minimum facilities of water, and it used to be an adventure. So that is what I enjoyed most about my childhood. And then as you get older, responsibilities kick in, that kind of thing. And, you have to work and stuff. So um, straight after college, I did not want to do A-levels. So I opted to do a business information system course at SVCS. And then I followed through with it until I decided that, I wanted to pursue a further education. So I went on to do my degree in information systems. And then from there, I also branched off in other little extracurricular activity. One of my hobbies a couple of years ago was kickboxing. So that was something I really love doing. So these are things that, you have to find hobbies and a balance between every day as well as some de-stressor. So yeah, that's about it for me. Very family oriented.
That is beautiful. I am so happy to hear all your academic achievements and professional achievements and so forth. That is really, really beautiful. And that says a lot, because many persons think that persons who are diabetic, who live with diabetes, they can't do this and they can't do that and they can't be successful. It's almost as if you are disabled. And I would know that very much, because I've encountered so many persons on finding out that they are diabetic. They automatically think or feel that they need to get a disability grant or a public assistance check. So I'm really, really happy to hear about both your academic and professional achievements. Wonderful. So, Farah, let's jump into our discussion today.
Sure.
How old were you when you were told that you had diabetes?
Well, how it started was I started feeling sick, where after breakfast on a morning, I'd feel nervous or lightheaded, and I didn't know what was the cause for it. So it was recommended that, let's go and check it out, do some blood tests or whatever. We did the blood test. I didn't get back the results as yet. Then one morning at work, I was really, really sick, and I rushed to the doctor one time, and that's where they did the testing your urine for sugar. and it was actually a very high number. So that is what led to me trying to find out now, doing the actual glucose tests where, you know, you drink a liquid and every 2 hours or so they monitor how your body breaks down sugar. So I was at the age of 27 when I was diagnosed with diabetes. Um, this September coming, it will be 6 years that I've been diabetic. And it has been, you know, a challenge as well as a roller coaster because there are ups and downs. Nothing is ever a smooth road. But the fact is that when after you reach a down, you always go back up. And that's what I have to keep
Beautiful.
reminding myself.
Yes. So that is really nice. You know, really nice that you processed it like that. But so at the age of 27, you weren't feeling well, and
Yes.
you would have been, you would go to the doctor, and there you would have find out
Yes.
that you are diabetic.
Yes.
What did that feel like, being told
At
that?
first, I was very scared, but my dad being diabetic, I heard about it. I did not know what it was, as in to say how it affects your body and those kind of things. All I know was dad was diabetic. He have to take medication. He have to watch what he eating. But I didn't know what the entire thing called diabetes was. So I was scared at first, really and truly. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I going to start experiencing all kind of different things? Do I have to be doing what daddy doing? So it was a lot of questions that I kept asking myself. But because I was already associated with it, it was not too hard for me to accept. I know some people will think, oh gosh, why this happened to me? Or, you know, those kind of questions. Those things didn't happen in my thought process. All I found out was I was diabetic. Daddy has it. Well, I'm done already. Start to know what it is I have to do. I need to start organizing myself to well, what to say is to live with it then. It wasn't where I had to being in grief or denial or nothing like that. It
Mm-hmm.
was it took a little while because the fear factor was always there.
Right.
You will always be afraid of something changing in your life. But it's
Right.
coming out of that fear and, you know, trying to educate yourself so you know you will not be afraid.
Very nice. Did you think at any point in time that you were going to die?
When they called, when the lab called and said, we need to talk to you and your parents, they didn't say what it was. They didn't give a hint of what it was. That was the scariest part because they didn't tell me on the phone, well, you know, we check your, we run a blood test and, you know, you may be diabetic or you're pre-diabetic. Let's come in and have a discussion. They just came and say, it's very important, we need to talk to you. So me, I started thinking all kind of things. Started
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, you know, it could be heart related, it could be cancer, it could be, so that part was where my overactive imagination went on a bend. And I started thinking of every and all possible things that could have gone wrong. And then
Uh-huh.
when I was like, oh, it's just diabetes, I was like, oh, but that's not something life threatening. Why did you all make it sound like if it was, I'm going to die in the next couple of months?
Right.
That was for me the worst part of it all, the way in which I was told that I was diabetic.
Right.
Because
That is,
when people
that's
put this
true.
unknown on you, we are our worst enemies. We will think the worst of things when it could have been something so small.
That is so true. The way that you were told, I'm very happy that you said that, because as healthcare professionals, we have been trained to give news, you know, and the way in which you are told that you have developed a new condition, anything,
Yeah,
that really can have an impact on you.
definitely.
Yes. So I'm very glad, but I'm also hearing you saying that you didn't bother about it too much because
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
has been
It,
diabetic
it,
and
it
dad is
didn't take
okay.
Yeah, it didn't take me long to figure out that here what there is nothing I can do about it. It's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now it don't make sense dwelling on it. Let's step forward and see how I can resolve. But at the time, I thought resolve was the word, but it wasn't resolve, but it was more control. Because
Yes.
at the beginning, I thought, oh, because I'm diabetic, well, then if I do what I'm supposed to do, I wouldn't be diabetic again. But that's not true. Because the
Mm-hmm.
minute you feel that you're on a good field and your medication is working and your readings are good, and you say, well, I could stop taking medication, no, then everything will go back to how it was in the beginning. The best someone who is diabetic could happen is your medication get reduced. But there will be no way you will stop your medications completely. Because if you stop it, you will start back from where you was before. That took me a while to figure out. Because I
Yeah.
thought, oh, if I exercise every day and I watch what I eat in, I cannot be diabetic again.
Mm-hmm.
That is not true. That is
Mm-hmm.
not true.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I tried it already. It was where my readings was good, I was exercising, I was eating. I was like, okay, well, then I don't need to take the full amount of medication. And within a couple days' time, my blood sugar levels were spiking again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a thought process. It's not something you can overcome in terms of no longer be diabetic. You're
Yes.
always going to be diabetic, but it becomes a part of your life so that you will know how to go about doing your daily chores without diabetes bothering you.
Yes. That is correct. You
Yes.
mentioned about that roller coaster feeling
Okay.
that you would have experienced going down and coming up. And so I'm assuming that you would have experienced some good days and some bad days.
Yes.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you have faced as a young person living with diabetes.
The first thing was trying to lose weight fast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they say weight is contributed with how your diabetes levels are and what you're eating and carb contents and stuff. Me being on the thicker side of stuff, I was starting to worry that I need to drop weight fast in order for my diabetes to start to go down low, to be good in readings and stuff. But that is not the case because your body and your BMI is different to what in terms of what you eat. You can eat your carbs, but you eat it in moderation. And that's what I had to learn. It's not that I have to eat little bit of food and starve myself because that didn't work. My readings would have still been high. What I had to realize was I had to start eating vegetables, even though I don't like vegetables and salad. That was hard for me who was not a cus. I mean, yes, you like your lettuce and stuff, but to start eating more of it and cutting down on your rice. And when you come from an Indian family, rice and roti is something you're accustomed eating all the time. And that is also a contributing factor because when you eat too much roti, especially if you eat it late in the night, you're going to put on weight. And when you wake up in the morning and your blood sugar levels high, you're going to stress yourself out that, oh gosh, I are doing enough. So it's always that kind of difficulty you're going to have. Then you'll get, for me at first, when I started exercising and taking meds, but the readings on the morning was still over 120, I started to get depressed. I was like, why isn't it working? Why? What am I doing wrong? And when you're depressed, you start to stress yourself out. When you stress yourself out, you're going to eat more. And all these things are things that will cause your blood sugar levels to spike. But then I had to realize that it's not something that's going to change in one day time. It's something that it will take time over a long period of time. So yes, you can eat your roti. I'm not saying don't eat your roti, but watch the time you eat it and watch the amount you eat it. So I had to learn by trial and error that there are certain foods that I will still take a chance and eat, but there are certain foods that I had to cut out. And one of those things was things we call chips or fries. Everybody loves the barbecue and fries and stuff, but fries was the is the worst killer for a person who have diabetes. Even if it's a few alone you pick, is enough damage you do right there because it's potato and oil. And I had to learn that because fries was such an easy to get kind of food, especially if you're hustling.
And
So
as I
that was some of it, figuring
and
out what to eat,
that's it. That's very
figuring
important
out
because
what to
even
eat.
as a young person, you go out and you know, as you would have mentioned earlier, that you like the outdoors,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And before I was diagnosed with diabetes, you're always going for, oh, I'm thirsty, let me go get a Coke, or I'm feeling to eat a chocolate. You're not thinking that the things we eat in are actually causing harm to our body, right? Because back then, nobody would have taught us that, if one of your parents or both of your parents are diabetic, then it is hereditary that a child in the family can be diabetic. They don't explain this so much to parents so that, you encourage the children to eat any and everything, right? And this is where the education part of diabetes, plays an important role.
Beautiful. And I like the fact that you said that word education, because
Education.
at the Romaine Diabetic Support Group, our goal is empowering lives through education.
Yes.
Because we believe that, a person could be diagnosed with a condition, but if they are educated about it, they understand the condition,
Yes.
then they are more likely to be in a better place so they can manage the condition better.
Yes.
But
And
you
for me,
go
sorry,
ahead.
for me, I would always commend and recommend the Larmain Diabetes Association as well as the Health Center because they played an important part when I was first diagnosed with diabetes. Back then, they had one-on-one sessions where they educated you, told you what diabetes is, how it affects your pancreas, and what it deals with insulin. So I got a lot of my education through them. And then from there, they branched it off into types of exercise, types of food, foot care, eye care. So it was the whole package deal. They gave me everything that I could have used so that I could now further do my research together with what they did so that I can be comfortable with the word diabetes.
That is very true. I would have
Yes.
worked at the Laramie Health Center, and the type of care
Yeah.
and individual care that
Yes.
our clients would receive,
Yeah.
because the Southwest Regional Health Authority, to whom we are associated with, they put that in place,
Yes.
individual counseling and even group sessions. I
Yes.
remember the days of having 10 patients coming into the health education room, and we having group sessions and we all discussing and troubleshooting. Those things really, really help. That education session
Yes.
in the morning, I remember many times persons would say, the patient's not listening to you. And I'm like, how you know that?
No, to
Right?
me, that was a very, very integral part in me accepting diabetes as well, because they gave me the information that I needed to be able to cope. I remember my first visit to the health center. I think it was Miss Nurse Strongheart, I believe. She gave us a little speech on the different stages of grief and relating to when being diagnosed with diabetic. And to me, that was a very good introduction to me because I was now newly diagnosed. So, how to cope? That was the first stage of me getting information of how to cope. Which level or which stage of grief are you in? Because you are grieving, because your normal life as you know it is changed.
And that's something that I wanted us to explore, because you said that, in the initial stages, you felt to some point depressed.
Yes.
How did you cope with that? How did you manage that? How did you deal with that?
For me, what I realize is yes, you get help from outside, you get encouragement from outside, you have the people and the tools at hand, but it's something that you as an individual have to want for yourself as well. You have to say, I need to get healthy, I need to do this for me. And in my experience, there, as I mentioned before with the roller coaster, yes, I'll keep saying that I know I have to exercise and I know I have to do this, but it's you as an individual that have to pull yourself out of whatever mindset you're in and say, here what, I've procrastinated enough, I need to start back. And I found myself that in certain circumstances where, I went straight 6 months, 8 months exercising real good, and then something happened and I just stopped. And I stopped for about 5 months. And then I have to realize or something triggers it off where for 2 days straight, your blood sugar levels real high, beyond high. And that's the wake up call, because there are going to be wake up calls that says, hey, what? I've been procrastinating enough. It's time to me to set my mind and do what I need to do to get healthy.
Many times persons would say that it is harder for young persons to manage diabetes, and I would have experienced a few young people, not much, because at the clinic we rarely engage with young persons. But I have had adults, senior adults, coming and saying, I don't know what to do again. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I'm doing everything. And that there's a line. So when I hear that line, I would say, okay, so tell me, have you been exercising? No. How you just be eating? What you eat this morning? Well, I eat half a roti and potato. And it would be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because you would have got, as a diabetic educator or a diabetes educator, you would have gone through this numerous times. You'd say quarter roti and this. You have to exercise. You understand? But yet still people would come and say to you, I don't know what to do again. Is it very difficult, in your opinion, as a young person? Is it very difficult for you to manage? Would you say it's very difficult?
I don't think it's very difficult. I'm not going to say that it's easy for me, because with both working and doing other extracurricular activities and stuff, it's finding time. And right now, I can fully say that I have not been doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because we're working from home sometimes, or we have to work a little extra later. Finding the time to exercise is hard, but then you have to realize, what is half an hour of day going to do from my schedule that's going to benefit me? Yes, it's going to be difficult, but you have to want to change. And that's what I realized. I need to want to change my circumstance in order to get myself moving. So for the longest while, we've been in the pandemic working from home. Usually my workout time is from 6:30 to 7, or 7 to 8, or around that area, that timing for me. That's my best time to exercise. But working from home kind of crash that, because sometimes you're working beyond your normal working hours to get certain things done, which means you don't have time to go exercise because you've been on the computer whole day, you're tired, you don't have the zeal to want to exercise. And this is the mentality a lot of people will have to face with, pushing yourself to want to exercise. Because for the past 2 weeks, I've been telling myself, I'm going to start today, I'm going to start today. And yet I haven't started. But the minute I do force myself that, here, what, enough is enough, you've been too slack on yourself, and I start back as serious as possible, I'm going to be on a roll. And what
I like that.
Yeah, but what people fail to realize is, when you're on a roll, encouragement is what you need too, because is you yourself can only do so much, right? Sometimes you need that little extra pull to let you continue doing more. And if you can have a buddy that you help each other, pull each other up, then that is much better.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. So that brings me to my next question. I would skip and I would go to this question one time. You have joined the executive committee of the Romaine Diabetic Support Group, and we have a buddy system.
Yes.
And you are correct. You say pull, I say push. People need a push, right? To get them going.
Yes.
How has your involvement in the executive committee and volunteerism, how has that been for you so far? And tell us a little bit about the body system.
For me, volunteerism is something personally that I like. It's giving back to others, because what I believe is, when you give back, you always receive in return. That's how it works. It's not where, the saying, you need two hands to clap. That's how I consider volunteerism. I can help you out. And then when I find myself in need, the people who I have helped out shows up without me even asking. And that's what it is about. Helping people, but without expecting something in return. That's what it's about. It's looking out for our fellow human beings. And when you see they need the help, what's wrong to give them a hand? That is what it is. Taking out a little bit of your time from your busy schedule to give back, because there is no limit on how much you can give back. And for me, the body system, it's where members of the group will call and keep in contact with general members and stuff. I have it in both sides where someone has called to contact me and find out how I have been doing. And I have also been in the position of calling people to find out how they're doing. And it's been great because at some point in your day you down and you just need that phone call to know that you matter, or someone is concerned about you, or they want to hear what problems you're experiencing. That little ear to listen to, even if you just need to rant and feel better. That is what people need, especially now in the pandemic, where we can't meet and socialize and stuff. That simple phone call, whether it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hi, how you going? What you want to talk about today? And then in the conversation, if the person is diabetic, you find out, so how's your health? What's your diabetic or your blood sugar readings? Why it's so high? What have you changed in your lifestyle? So you find out stuff, and you in that way you also bring it to their mind. Hey, I have been slacking off. I should be doing this and I should be taking my medication on time. So it also works as a reminder that you have certain things to do.
That is very correct, because getting that call kind
Yeah.
of like, you might forget. And I have realized that myself, that persons actually just need that phone call
Yes.
to just bring to remembrance. People
Yeah.
know what to do in Farah,
Yeah.
but that little extra concern, that extra care, you
Yes.
know, that phone call to say, how are you? And as you say, as you engage in the conversation, you ask, so how you doing? How your blood sugar levels going? How your
Yeah.
pressure going? How you managing your stress?
Yeah.
That really, really goes a long way.
Yes,
That's beautiful.
definitely.
I'm very, very happy to hear about your experience in volunteerism and also being engaged in this body system.
I also
Farah,
gave out I also gave out my number to my buddies, and even if I don't call and they have something pressing that they want to discuss about, I told them feel free to message me or call me, because I will. If I miss your call, I'll always get back to you. So giving them that lifeline that you have someone to contact is also something nice that they like.
I am loving your choice of words. Lifeline. Oh
Lifeline,
my.
life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's really, 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 really nice. I love the words. Farah, what would you say is your greatest achievement in your personal life? Yeah?
Um, For me, I wouldn't say there are one, but one that tops the few would be me graduating with my BSc. Really and truly, I did not think I would graduate because it was a tough course in terms that I felt that I was not going to pass that particular one course. And when you're doing your degree, if you fail or you don't complete your final year project, that kind of squashes everything. So I was in the back of my mind thinking, oh God, I have to go back and do this 2 years again, boy, just for this one course. And then I got an email from the committee board saying, you passed, and you so you'll be able to graduate. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you God. I do not think I could have gone back, because you reach a burnout stage sometimes. And for me, I don't think I would have been able to go back and do it. So me graduating would have been my greatest achievement thus far. And to be able to share with my parents and stuff was a very memorable part of my life.
Would you say that diabetes has debarred you in any way from success?
No, I wouldn't say that. Diabetes becomes your lifestyle. So you can continue doing whatever you want to do. If it's outdoor activity, if you're into running, cycling, any kind of strenuous activity, nothing stopping you, but you just need to know, don't overdo yourself. Have something to eat in case your blood sugar goes down. Walk with lots of water. So there are things that you must include in your normal activities, especially if someone is working on computers, always on the screen. Take a 5 minutes and walk away. Don't, as they say, get lost in your work, right? That for me, diabetes do not put a hindrance. It meshes with your lifestyle. So if it is you're indoors, okay. If you're outdoor, it's the same thing. You just need to add those little things to control your readings so that it don't be too high.
So therefore, would you say that diabetes has impacted on your life positively?
It's a yes or no question still, because some people will say, because I'm diabetic, I can't do certain things or I can't eat certain things, but that's not true. You can still eat the foods you love. You can eat the chocolate you like, but in moderation. Instead of sitting down and eating a whole chocolate bar, you eat two pieces, right? Because you know if you're going to exercise later. So, and the positive part about it is it gives you a sense of making your body healthy. You're going to watch the calories you're eating, you're watching your sugar content you're eating. So then your body, you know what foods you're putting into your body that's not going to have a negative effect. And that's the positive part about it, as well as education. For me, that part was important because the things I know now are things that I will in the future teach my children from the beginning. It's not where, I'm going to leave them to do what they want. No, it's going to be where I will educate them. Hey, mommy is diabetic or I'm diabetic. These are things that I can't do. You all can do it, but we have to watch how you do it. So the fact that, this education that I have, where my parents didn't have it, where they could have, taught us while we're growing up, is where it's really, really the positive part. So that, you can prevent younger kids or children getting diabetes at an early age.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very nice. I feel very happy with, what I'm hearing. So I trust that, young persons who are listening on, they would become encouraged and empowered on this side.
Yes.
Empowered, yeah, by educating yourself.
Yes.
So, Farah, the pandemic would have contributed to a lot of persons not being able to access that one-on-one
Yeah.
with doctors and so forth, because a lot of focus has been placed, rightfully so, on the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
Um, how how has the COVID-19 pandemic been for you? I heard that you said that you're working from home, but how has that affected you, or has it affected you in any way?
It would in some degree. Where when you're home, you're always looking for things to eat. You're always looking for things to eat. You will take two turns, go open the fridge and watch what you have to eat. That's something that you notice when you're home, because when you're in work, you don't have that luxury of going to the fridge or somewhere to pick up. So definitely eating more would have been the major part of it, and then not have any time to exercise. So for me, it will already have a negative effect where your blood sugar readings will go up. And this is where you have to now take the time. Okay, if I'm going to eat plenty, sure, no problem, but I'm going to make it into smaller meals then. Instead of having this whole big plate of food, if it is you know that you're constantly eating, then break it up into smaller meals. And that's what I noticed helped me, because when I now started from the pandemic, I wasn't eating breakfast. I was just diving straight into work and then eating 1 o'clock. And then when I realized work finished, it's late in the night, I'm real hungry because I wasn't giving my body the enough sustenance it needed. Hence the reason you would have find yourself eating plenty in the night. And that's what I realized. I had to cut it off and try and eat a good breakfast. If I couldn't eat a good breakfast, well, then a good lunch and then a light dinner. So, you mix it up and try to find a routine that would have been best suited for you. In the pandemic, some people say they're a morning person or they're a night person. All of this is you figuring out your activities and trying to fix it in so that, it will move smoothly. So for me, the pandemic had both a negative and a positive impact in terms of, me going out of the whole exercising regime, but also making it aware that, hey, I am overdoing it and I need to stop. So as it goes back, you have to reel yourself in and have a bit of control. And that's what I realized I was overdoing it, that I needed to
Yeah.
put a stop to it. And
Yeah.
when you see things started to kind of open back a little bit, I was glad in a way that I could have put back myself in a schedule that, hey, this is the time you exercise, this is the time you eat, this is the time you have to take your meds before your meal,
Yeah.
those kind of things. Because that structure kind of helps us with keeping in a loop, that it's
Yes.
going to be, when you have a repetitive cycle, it's going to become easier. And that's what I had to develop in order to overcome the overeating. Yeah, late in the night I find myself wanting to eat heavy food because I did not eat it during the day,
Yes.
and that's the worst thing a diabetic could do.
Yes. Easy access to the fridge could be
Yeah.
detrimental to our health.
If I could take 5 trips to the fridge in an hour, that's plenty.
One person I know, she's a teacher, and I would have shared with her. I said, because she's working from home. So I said, get up in the morning as if you're going to work, pack your lunch bag, bottle your water, do everything, take it up to your room where you're going to be teaching from, and have everything there. So you don't have to worry to go and cook nothing, or you're feeling hungry, or sometimes you work right through without eating, and that's
Yeah,
really, really bad
yeah,
for your
that's bad.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The,
I'm
the,
really glad to hear that
the,
you would have been
yeah,
able to make those
yeah.
adjustments.
The jokey thing was that I, being in a household with diabetes, we don't have snacks and junk in our food, in our home.
Right.
So my source when I now became diabetic was, my source was outside. So you try to find yourself going to buy stuff because it's not at home. And that's what they
Yes.
are kind of glad I had, where, we didn't over indulge in stuff we're not supposed to, because we know we're from the diabetes group. So
Yeah.
things like soft drinks and high juice content and those things, especially a Coke, that's the thing people goes for first, a Coke. And those things
Yes.
we didn't have in the house. But
Yes.
now how we trying to mitigate it is, when we feel for a Coke now, we will buy a Coke, yes, but we will share it amongst everybody in the house so that you get a
Right.
little bit. You don't sit
Like
down and drink a whole
like
2
communion.
right. Right. It's like, so you get any taste you want, because what I realized too is, when you crave a taste of something, don't deny your body, because the minute you go for it, you will not be able to stop. Because that
Yes.
that happened to me. I went about 5 months straight without soft drink at all, and I was feeling good about it.
Right.
And one day I just decided, I got somebody offered, and I tasted. For me, the first time I tasted it, it tastes like sugar water. First off, because I haven't had it. But
Mm-hmm.
then the next time I drink it, and it tasting good, it's Starbucks. So, and then you get a hook. So
Yes.
that I what I learned is, when my body craves something, whether it is a chocolate or a Coke, or feeling to eat something, don't deny your body it. There's a reason why your body feeling for it. Don't deny it. But I'm not saying to go crazy and drink a whole 20 ounce. No.
Some people body will crave a 1 liter soft drink, and no Farah.
Yeah, but that I don't know about that one. To me, what I notice is, when I crave it, all I need is just the taste.
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a half, small half glass,
Right.
just to get that taste,
Yes.
and then I'm good. I don't need a whole 20 ounce again.
Beautiful. I'm very happy to hear that you have been able to cope well during the pandemic. Because I will tell you that during this time, this last year, life has become very busy
Yeah.
because it's almost as if you leave the computer and go to bed and wake up and come back on the computer,
Yes.
because it seems as if persons are having more and more and more. Sometimes it's like from one meeting to the next, and you're just sitting here,
Yeah.
you know? So making that effort to get back, what we would say in social work, readjusting,
Yes.
restructuring. The pandemic has caused us to restructure, to relook, rethink the way in which we do things. It may have taken a little period of time of us getting into what might be a negative routine, but it's important that we are able to think and adjust, you know?
Yes.
And I'm really glad to hear that you have adjusted and you're going to get back on your routine, your
Yes,
exercise. I know
I
you
think
love
I would
kickboxing.
consider myself lucky that the pandemic didn't have much negative effect on me.
Yes.
Yeah, I would call myself lucky because some people are not so lucky. They went through a really hard time, or they're still going through a hard time,
Yeah.
and you have to be aware of that.
Yes. Good. So we beginning to wind down, we're about to take this beautiful flight that we have embarked upon this morning. We are about to land in Tobago, you know. So Farah, young persons like yourself, you have been diabetic for 6 years, just
Yes,
about that, right?
yes,
So when a young person is told that they are diabetic, they may experience some of the things that you would have experienced.
yes.
What advice would you give to them to help them along the journey as it relates to diabetes, this diagnosis, and how they can manage?
My first thing will tell them it's okay to be afraid. That first initial feeling of fright, it's okay to feel scared. And having parents or guardians there with you to move forward in the step to take in encouragement is also going to play an important part. Well, so especially for me, my parents were very supportive and helpful and those kind of stuff. So for parents, students and stuff, this is where if they're diabetic and they now found out, their parents, going to give them the education, they're going to show them the way they're going to go. Then they have to realize it's not going to change their everyday activities. They have to continue it. But the only addition to it is that, I have to take meds to be careful. For me, I would always encourage people, know your body, find out what is the signs of high blood pressure and low blood pressure, because everyone is different. Some people may experience shakiness in their hands or tingliness in the legs. Figure out so that you could know the signs whether your body is experiencing a high level of sugar or low level. This is something that you have to be aware of. And and then you educate yourself. So if you have to do research yourself, or join a group, or some kind of body that provides you with the training and the knowledge you need in order to go through your everyday life. If it is you need to go to a dietitian because you don't know how to eat meals, or you need to know what types of food you need to do. These are services provided by our healthcare facilities, right? You need to join your local healthcare, tell them you're diabetic, and they will provide you with your medication as well as the education you need to live your life normally, right? If it is, and then what I notice especially is when you ask for help, especially if it's a stupid question concerning diabetes, the healthcare providers are happy to answer you because they want people to know about the disease. They want people to educate the self, so that the fact that you're educating yourself, know that what it is you can expect and things you can do to help yourself become healthy. And then they provide the services of foot care, eye care, all these normal blood tests, chest testing, your HbA1c, those kind of things the healthcare services provide for you. So yes, we're saying you cannot feel as though your life going to end, because it's not. It's just a change in dynamics. It's nothing in terms of you is going to make a difference in terms of I'm going to stop doing this and stop doing that. No, no one is telling you you have to restrict yourself from doing anything. You can continue as you always have been continuing. Diabetes is not something to control you. You control your diabetes. And
I
that's how
like that.
it's supposed to be.
Yes, you have to control it,
Yeah.
otherwise it will
Don't let
control
it,
you.
yeah, it will control you if it is you don't do what you're supposed to do. And it's never where a disease should be controlling you. You should be controlling your disease so
True.
that it don't affect no aspect of your life.
True, true. Definitely, we definitely need to control diabetes and not let diabetes
Yeah.
control us.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well said, Farah. Farah, it has been a beautiful, what was supposed to be a half an hour, is now 50 minutes of a meet and vlog. I feel honored to have you as my guest this morning on our first Saturday meet and vlog of the Romaine Diabetic Support Group. I myself feel encouraged and empowered, and I know that those of us logged on Zoom and those of us listening on YouTube will be empowered to hear the words that you have shared with us. I would want to recommend, yes, not even advise, but just recommend that, you consider probably the profession, this beautiful helping profession of nursing or diabetes education. I think you will make an excellent diabetes educator. So at this point in time, as we wind down, as we about to land in Crown Point Airport, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to share with us?
I'd like to thank you, Lyndon, for having me here. It's good to know that I could let everyone know my experience, to know, you're not alone. You're not the only people that feeling depression or fear or even anger. And these are normal things to be feeling. It's not something that you alone have to go through. If it is you want help, there are so many people out there that will give you the helping hand. You just need to reach out for it. And secondly, I'd like to thank the Romaine Diabetic Support Group. The only reason why I know so much today is through them, really and truly through them and the Romaine Health Center, because they have provided me with all the tools that I needed to know about being diabetic and what the signs to look for and how to take care of myself. And without them, I don't think I would have reached so far. And for that, I really want to commend them for doing a really good job in bringing the community closer, as well as, engaging them. And as you say, empowering their lives through education.
Farah, wow. I hope that, when this goes live, that persons from the executive body at the Southwest Regional Health Authority would listen
Definitely.
and they
Yes.
would realize, the fruit of the work that would have gone in diabetes education at the
Yes.
Romaine Health Center. Um, I thank you for being my guest this morning. It has been a beautiful experience. I look forward to inviting you again at some point in time to engage in some other topic, because I think that you really, really, really have a lot of information that needs to be shared. So thank you very much. To everyone listening on, a very great Saturday, rest of the day to each and every one of you. I thank you all for logging on. Continue to support the Romaine Diabetic Support Group. It's a nonprofit organization that seeks to empower lives through education. Yeah. And we have our education meetings on the fourth Saturday of each month. So you all are welcome to log on. Just send a text message or make a phone call to 757-9116. That's 757-9116. And you can get the link to join us on the fourth Saturday of each month at 3 p.m., where we have our empowering education meetings. And also we have our youth arm that meet on the third Saturday of each month, again at 3 p.m. And we have a very empowering message coming this month from Miss Wendy Lewis, who will be sharing with us about, getting ready to go back to school, because we know that our young people, they would have been out of the physical space, and we look forward to them returning to school. So she's going to share with them. So thank you all for being with us today. We look forward again to you all being with us on the first Saturday in September, where we will have another discussion on diabetes management, lifestyle, whatever the topic is coming. We look forward to you all being part of us. So stay safe, stay well, and we look forward to you all being there with us.